Hello, welcome to Yoga One's online classes. My name's Jay and today I'm going to be taking you through a sequence of gentle heart openers. So these are particularly good for opening up the front body, releasing tension through the front body and also providing some strengthening and stretch for your back body. Let's get started. To start our practice lying on our backs. So I would like you to take a bolster. I have a bolster here. However, if you're traveling or away, cushions will do, or a pillow, or even a rolled up blanket. Take the base of the pillow just behind your sacrum and then gently lie yourself down on the bolster. You can plant your feet on the mat or release your legs nice and long. And then take your arms out to the side, allowing yourself to feel a nice stretch across the top of your chest, across your collarbones. Maybe take a moment here to close your eyes. And find yourself on your mat. Taking 3 full, deep breaths. Inhaling deep into your belly. And exhaling, finding a little bit of softness, letting everything relax down. Inhaling and exhaling. To increase this stretch, you can also bring your hands to cactus so your fingertips will start to point towards the top of your mat, relaxing the backs of your hands down onto the floor. And then gently, if your eyes are closed, opening your eyes back up, planting both feet onto your mat and gently rolling onto one side to remove your bolster away from you and finding your way back down onto your mat. Hugging both knees in towards your chest, flattening your spine onto your mat. And then again, releasing your arms out to the side, palms face up. And allowing now your knees to start to move over to the left, finding a nice supine twist. You may want to move your hips into the center of your mat and then gaze towards your right fingertips. Relaxing your right shoulder down, knees are stacked, breathing into your right rib cage. Feeling the expansion of your lungs and your rib cage. And then finding that softness. And then inhaling, coming back through center. Maybe hugging in again. Exhaling, releasing your arms out. And this time allowing your knees to drop over to the right. And again, moving your hips into the midline of your mat, anchoring your left shoulder down. Maybe gazing gently towards your left fingertips. Feeling your inhale as your rib cage expands and your exhale as your left and right shoulder sink onto your mat. Taking one more breath here. And then inhaling, coming back to center. Hugging in just one more time. Maybe grabbing opposite elbows and giving yourself a really nice big squeeze. And then releasing your head back down onto your mat, taking your hands behind your thighs, and then starting to find a forward and back roll. So rolling along your spine, maybe 2 or 3 times, all the way up to seated. Then cross your ankles, plant your hands, and move back into an all fours position. So you're coming to tabletop now, spreading your fingers nice and wide, making sure that your knees and your hips are stacked, pushing the floor away, hugging your navel in. We're going to start mobilizing the spine here, moving through 4 rounds of cat and cow. So on your next inhale, initiating the movement from your tailbone, allow your tailbone to start to lift as your belly drops and your heart starts to reach through your upper arms, gazing up, finding cow pose. And then as you exhale, allowing your tailbone to start to lengthen down, navel hugs in. Start to gaze towards your navel or between your thighs as you push the floor away, rounding your shoulders, finding cat. Inhaling, elbows maybe soften, arms still hugging in, belly drops, tailbone lifts, heart reaches, cow. Exhaling, tailbone lengthens, navel hugs in, gaze to your navel or between your thighs. Taking 2 more rounds using your own breath, inhaling into cow. Exhaling into cat. One last round. Pushing the floor away, really hugging your navel in, rounding, protracting your shoulders. And then inhale back to your tabletop. You're going to move into puppy pose, so playful puppy. Bringing your elbows where your hands were. Maybe moving your knees back but keeping your hips high. And then starting to reach your fingertips forward as you sink your chest onto your mat. Bringing your forehead to your mat or your chin, whatever feels better in your neck. Maybe reaching your hands a little bit wider than shoulder distance. And then as you inhale, feeling the broadening across your shoulders. And as you exhale, allowing your chest to sink towards the mat. Breathing, feeling your breath, feeling your ribcage expand and relax and your chest soften down. And then on your next inhale, start to shift forward, moving into a Sphinx pose. Belly starts to drop down onto your mat. Move your elbows in a little bit. So your elbows and your shoulders want to be stacked on top of each other. So one nice long line. And then press into your hands, into your forearms. Press into the tops of your feet, so much so that maybe your knees start to lift. And then energetically pull your heart through your upper arm bones. Press the floor away to keep your shoulders away from your ears. Tailbone starts to lengthen. You are hugging your navel in as you find this first gentle back bend. Inhaling and exhaling. And then gently releasing your chin down onto your mat. Sliding your hands underneath your shoulders, hugging your elbows in as you push back through all fours. Tucking your toes, lifting your hips, making your way to your first downward facing dog, and maybe finding a little bit of movement here. So spreading your fingers nice and wide, hands are shoulder distance apart, upper arm bones rolling in, your neck's nice and relaxed. Bending your knees, lifting your hips, finding this upside down V shape. Inner thighs are rolling towards each other as your heels reach towards your mat. Take an inhale and an exhale breath. And then on your next inhale, lifting your heels nice and high, start to roll yourself forward into plank pose. Pressing the floor away, heels reaching back, thighs strong. Navel hugging in, gaze gently ahead to keep your neck nice and long. Option to drop your knees down or to keep them lifted. Take one more breath here. And then drop your knees onto your mat. Shift your weight slightly forward, elbows hug in towards each other, lowering in one line all the way down onto your mat. Moving through some modified Shalabhasana locust poses here. Untuck your feet, so you're pressing into the tops of your feet. Bring your chin to the top of your mat. Reach your hands behind you and then clasp your hands behind you, making a fist, allowing your palms to touch. Roll your shoulder heads back, keeping your neck nice and long. Your navel hugs in, so imagine that you have a cherry tomato in your belly button that you don't want to squash. And then on your next inhale, keeping your feet down, so pressing into the tops of your feet. This first time, start to lift your chest, your shoulders, your chin away from the mat. Legs are long, inhaling here, exhaling. Inhale, lengthening your fist away from the crown of your head. Exhaling to lift a little bit higher. Inhale, exhale, gently release everything down onto your mat. Take a full breath cycle here. Feeling the sensations in your spine. And then taking your hands behind you again, finding that clasp. Maybe you take a non-dominant grip this time, switching your thumb and fingers. And then pulling your shoulder heads away from the top of your mats, starting to lift your chin. On your next inhale, your chin will lift, your elbows lift, your fist reaches away from your shoulders. This time legs will lift. Your feet are hip distance apart, or maybe they start to move towards each other. Your spine is long. Keep gazing ahead, keeping the back of your neck long. Keep pulling your belly button away from your mat. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to lift. Inhale, and then exhale, gently releasing everything onto your mat, taking a full breath cycle. Taking one more locust pose now, taking the full expression of the pose. Turn your palms down to face onto the mat. Bring your pinky fingers by your thighs. Then pressing into the tops of your feet, pull your shoulder heads away from the mat, chin to the top of your mat. As you inhale, start to lift your chin, your shoulders, your hands will lift and reach behind you. Then your legs will lift. Inhale to find length. The crown of your head is reaching away from your toes. Exhale to find maybe a little bit more lift. Inner thighs moving towards each other. Maybe your feet start to move towards each other. Keep your neck long. Inhale, and then exhale. Gently release everything down onto your mat. Maybe finding a pillow for your chin or your forehead, bending your knees and windshield wiping your legs from side to side. And then releasing your feet down, sliding your hands underneath your shoulders, hugging your elbows in and back. Find a baby cobra. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, pushing over your knees, tucking your toes, lift your hips. Find downward facing dog and move as much as you need to, as much as feels good. Pressing the floor away, spreading your fingers, broadening across your shoulders, necks relaxed. Breathing. Lower ribs hug in as your hips reach up and back. And then moving through a rolling cobra. On your next inhale, lift your heels and again start to roll forward into your plank. Option to drop your knees down. Take a full breath cycle here, push the floor away. And then exhale again as your knees drop down, elbows hug in, heart shifts forward, lowering in one line all the way down onto your mat into this modified chaturanga. This time fingertips will come off your mat. So your fingertips are in line with your shoulders, elbows pointing up towards the ceiling. Pressing into the tops of your feet again, activating your legs. On your next inhale, start to roll your shoulder blades together as you peel your heart away from the mat. Inhale here, exhale. Gently releasing down, doing that 2 more times. Inhale as you lift. Exhale as you lower. Inhale to lift. Maybe you hold it here and glance over one shoulder, glance over the other shoulder, come back to center, exhale. Release down. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders, elbows hug in as you push over all fours, maybe tucking your toes, lifting your hips, finding that downward facing dog again. Take a full breath cycle here, inhaling and exhaling everything out. And then on your next inhale, you're lifting your toes, bending your knees, looking towards the top of your mat, and then taking a slow tiptoe walk all the way to the top, finding a forward fold. Bend your knees as much as you need to, grab your opposite elbows, maybe find a little bit of sway, feet are together or hip distance apart. Releasing your fingertips down onto your mat. Inhaling, bringing your hands to your shins, lifting your heart forward, chest reaches, finding this halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhaling as we forward fold, finding Uttanasana. Inhaling as you root to rise, sweep your arms out to the side, reaching up and overhead, finding Urdhva Hastasana. Finding length here first. Inhale, maybe gaze up towards your fingertips. Exhale as you sweep your hands behind you. And you're going to bring your hands to your sacrum. So your sacrum is the big triangular bone that you'll find at the base of your spine. Bring the heels of your hands to that place, then start to hug your elbows in. Feet are hip distance apart now. Elbows start to hug in. Apply a little bit of pressure down and forward to encourage your hips to stay forward, and then lifting your chest, your heart up. Inhaling, elbows move back towards each other as you start to find this gentle standing back bend. Navel hugging in, tailbone lengthening. You're helping your tailbone to do that. Keeping the back of your neck long, so you can tuck your chin. That feels better for your neck. Inhale here. Exhale, gently leading with your chest. Find your way back up to standing. Find your Tadasana. Pushing into all four corners of your feet. So your feet will be hip distance apart, or they'll come together. Heels may be slightly apart. Pull up on your thighs, tailbone lengthens, chest lifts, collarbone smile. Crown of your head reaches up towards the ceiling. On your next inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. Find Urdhva Hastasana, maybe a gentle back bend. Exhale, swan dive forward into forward fold, Uttanasana. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Inhale, hands to shins, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Heart reaches forward, navel hugging in. Exhale, plant both hands onto your mat as you step your right foot back and drop your right knee down. Untucking or keeping your toes tucked. Inhale as you sweep your arms up, finding this low lunge. Left hip moves back, right hip moving forward. Tailbone lengthening, heart lifting. Now, one of the ways we can encourage our body to do this is to actually help assist our body into the pose. So take your thumbs, bring them into your armpits. Hug your elbows in. On your next inhale, start to gently apply a little bit of pressure to lift and puff up your chest. So feel your heart start to lift. Keep your back of your neck nice and long. As that happens, you may start to feel your tailbone lengthen. So reach your hands behind you, bring your hands to your sacrum again, and then applying a little bit of pressure down and forward, pull your elbows together, allow your chest to start opening a little bit more. Maintain the inward rotation of your inner thighs are rolling in towards each other. Left hip moving back, right hip moving forward. Inhale as you apply pressure. It's very light adjustment. You're just guiding your muscles in your body into the pose. Navel hugs in, tailbone lengthening. Maybe you extend your arms behind you. Inhale here. Exhale, release your hands down to frame your foot. Tuck your back toe, lift your back knee. Step back to downward facing dog. Take an inhale and an exhale breath here. And then inhale as you roll forward into your plank, moving through a vinyasa now. Exhale as you drop your knees down, moving through this modified chaturanga, elbows hugging in, chest slips forward, lowering in one line all the way down onto your mat. Untucking your toes, inhaling into your baby cobra. Exhaling, rolling over your knees, tucking your toes, lifting your hips. Downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift your right leg to the level of your right hip. Then look between your hands and step that right foot between your hands. You may need to give it just a little bit of help to get there. Drop your left knee down, untuck your back toe, or you can keep it tucked. Inhale up, find that low lunge again. This time we're going to sweep our hands behind you and find that clasp again. Palms pressing in towards each other, shoulder heads rolling back. Right hip moves back, left hip moves forward. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale as maybe that left hip capsule starts to hinge forward. Your fist starts to reach towards your heel or the crease of your back knee. Inhaling, finding openness in your upper body, this nice chest expansion. And then gently releasing your arms back up. Inhale here, exhale. Hands come down to frame your foot. Lift your back knee, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, heart reaching. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale, maybe your hands come to your sacrum again and you support yourself in this supported standing back bend, broadening across your collarbones, elbows hugging in. And then find your way back to Tadasana. Moving through the same sequence on the left side, finding that strong Tadasana to start with. Inhaling, sweeping your arms up. Exhaling, swan diving forward, finding Uttanasana, that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, planting your hands to frame your feet, stepping your left leg back this time. Dropping your left knee down, and then inhaling, sweeping your arms up, finding that Anjaneyasana. Maybe inhaling, moving your hips back, and then exhaling, starting to shift forward, keeping your hips square, tailbone lengthening, chest lifted. Maybe this time we bring our hands to cactus. Inhaling as we proudly puff up our chest, tailbone lengthens, elbows start to squeeze behind us, feel your shoulder blades moving towards each other. Keep hugging in your belly button. Maybe your gaze lifts, inhale. Exhale, gently release your hands down to frame your foot. Step back, downward facing dog. Taking a full breath cycle here, allowing your upper arms to roll in, navel to hug in, hips to reach up and back. And inhaling forward into your plank. Exhaling, moving through that modified chaturanga, or maybe feeling warm enough now to move through chaturanga dandasana. Shifting forward, elbows hug in. Inhaling up, finding your upward facing dog this time. Exhale, rolling over your toes, finding downward facing dog. Inhaling, lifting that left leg now nice and high, and then looking between your hands and stepping that left foot between your hands, dropping your right knee down, untucking or keeping that back toe tucked. Inhale, lifting up, left hip moves back, right hip moves forward, chest lifts, tailbone lengthens. Sweep your hands behind you, find that clasp. Press your palms together, elbows stay nice and soft, lift your chest. Inhale as you broaden across your chest, fist starts to reach towards the crease of your back knee or your back heel. That left hip keeps moving back, right hip forward. Inhale. Release your arms. Release your hands to frame your foot. Lift your back knee, step forward. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. Sweep your arms out to the side, reach your arms up overhead. Hands this time, travel to your heart center. Take a moment here, reconnect to your breath. Feel your mat underneath all four corners of your feet. Breathe. Maybe gently close your eyes. And then when you're ready, moving on, releasing your hands down by your side, finding that strong Tadasana again. On your next inhale, you'll start to sit your hips low as you reach your heart high, finding Utkatasana, chair pose. Your tailbone will start to lengthen down. So using our hands to find that adjustment, feel the back of your sacrum. Your tailbone starts to lengthen, your navel hugs in. You can bring your hands to your thighs and find that lift in your chest, shoulders stay down. Feel the actions of your hands pressing against your thighs, and your chest lifting, tailbone lengthen, navel hugs in, and then maybe you reach your arms up. The weight is in your heels, inner thighs are rolling in towards each other, shoulders are relaxed. Take an inhale breath here, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Then moving through your vinyasa, exhale, planting your hands, stepping back to your plank. Inhaling at the top of your plank. Exhaling, modified chaturanga or chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift your right leg. As you look between your hands, step your right foot between your hands. Again, giving it some help if it needs it. Stabilizing your feet, right hip moves back, left hip moving forward, navel hugging in. Inhale as you reach your arms up into your crescent lunge. It's those same actions again, right hip moving back, left hip moving forward, back heel reaching back, shoulders, shoulder blades releasing down your spine, fingertips reaching up. And then take your right thumb crease, take your right thumb, bring it to your right hip crease. Start to apply a little bit of pressure to keep your hips square, and then start to reach your left fingertips forward. We're moving into a twist. When you can't reach any more, hook your left elbow against your right thigh. Start to twist through your thoracic spine, so through your rib cage. Bring your palms together, find a prayer twist. Palms pressing in towards each other. Option here is to drop your back knee down. Twisting, maybe looking over that right shoulder. If your knee's down, lift it back up. Inhaling as you come through center. Stabilizing, engaging your core. Exhaling, arms will reach up. They'll windmill out as your back foot pivots 90 degrees, moving into your warrior two. Heel to midfoot alignment. Check your back fingertips are level with your front. Then sit that front heel, sink that front heel into your mat. Front knee and front ankle are in line, pushing into the back edge of your back foot. Gaze over your front fingertips. Then start to lengthen into that front leg. Maybe heel toeing that back foot in slightly, moving into Utthita Trikonasana. Start to reach your fingertips forward as your hip moves back. Keep reaching. And then when you can't reach anymore, maintaining the side body length, find your way into Utthita Trikonasana. Gazing up towards your top fingertips, allowing that left rib cage to roll up towards the ceiling, broadening across your collarbones, or maybe gazing down if that feels better for you. Taking an inhale and an exhale breath here, pushing into the big toe mound of that front foot, legs are strong. And then inhale, finding reverse Trikonasana. So reaching that right hand up, legs are long and strong. Find that side body length in your right side. Exhaling, hands windmilling down to frame that front foot. Pick your back heel up, find a runner's lunge. Inhale here, and then exhaling, moving into warrior three. So fingertips will reach forward and then bend into your front knee as you start to lift that left leg as you move into your warrior three. Maybe balancing your hands against your thigh to find some balance. Left toes flex, left hip point facing down, heart reaching. When you find your balance, reaching your arms behind you. Inhaling here. And then exhaling as that left foot comes to meet your right as you sit your hips down, finding Utkatasana. Tailbone lengthening, heart reaching, take an inhale breath here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to your plank, moving through your Vinyasa Chaturanga or your modified Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling, finding your upward facing dog, allowing your shoulders to move away from your ears, broadening across your collarbone. Exhale, downward facing dog, moving on to the left side. Inhaling, lifting that left leg. Exhaling, stepping that left foot between your hands. Inhaling, as you reach your fingertips up, finding your crescent lunge. Exhaling, bringing that left thumb to your left hip crease. Pulling that left hip back to keep your hips square as you reach your fingertips forward and find that prayer twist. Hooking your right tricep against your left thigh, pressing your palms together, maybe gazing over your left shoulder. Inhaling and exhaling, rotating round your ribcage. And then inhale as you come through center, arms reach up, arms open wide, windmilling, back foot pivots 90 degrees, heel to midfoot alignment as you find your warrior two. Inhaling here, letting your hips sit down, relaxing your shoulders, gaze over your front fingertips. Then straightening into your front leg, heel toeing that back foot in to shorten your stance, moving into Utthita Trikonasana, finding that side body length first, and then windmilling your arms, your left hands coming to your left shin, right fingertips reaching, right ribcage rolling up, gazing towards your right fingertips or down towards your toes. Inhaling, finding that reverse Trikonasana. Exhaling, hands windmill down, find that runner's lunge again. Inhale to find length here, and then moving into that warrior three, shifting your weight into your left leg, gently and gracefully as possible, lifting that right foot up, maybe bringing your hands to your thigh to find stability, right foot flex, right hip point facing down, fingertips reaching back. Inhale here, exhale, finding Utkatasana, chair pose. Moving through one more vinyasa here. Inhale here, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift, heart reaches. Exhale, this time planting your hands, stepping back to plank, and then stopping as we move all the way onto our belly. So lowering in one line or dropping your knees all the way down. Sliding your way back a little bit to make sure that your chin is on your mat. Coming up now into Sphinx pose. So bringing your elbows underneath your shoulders, pressing into your forearms, finding that energetic movement of your heart moving forward as your feet press into your mat. So tops of your feet into your mat, heart reaches. And we're going to move into half bow pose today, rather than a full bow. This is just gentle heart opening. So we're going to start to press into your right hand and then start to reach your left fingertips forward as you bend your left heel towards your left glute and grab the inside edge of your left foot. Now press your foot into your hand and your hand into your foot to allow that shoulder to open. And then maybe you start to lift that back thigh. As you keep pressing, start to reach your fingertips forward. So your right fingertips start to reach forward. And then maybe your left foot hovers too. Inhaling to find length here. Exhaling as you lift. Inhale to find length. Keep hugging that right knee in towards the midline. And then exhale as you gently release everything down onto your mat, making a pillow with your hands, relaxing your head, taking a breath cycle here. And then finding your way back up to your Sphinx pose. Pressing into your forearms, shoulder heads rolling back, heart reaching forward, pressing into the tops of your feet. And then this time your right fingertips start to reach forward and then reach behind you to grab the inside edge of your right foot. Pressing your right foot into your hand and your hand into your foot, opening your shoulder. Maybe your thigh starts to lift. As your thigh lifts, you can stay here and just feel this gentle opening. Or you can start to reach your left fingertips forward. They may lift off the mat. Your thigh lifts, your left leg lifts. Inhaling, finding length here. Exhaling, lifting maybe a little bit higher. Your navel is hugging in, your tailbone is lengthening. Take one more inhale. Exhale. Gently releasing everything down onto your mat. Maybe bending your knees, Windshield wiping your legs. Relaxing your feet down. And then sliding your hands underneath your shoulders, finding a cobra, baby cobra, pressing into the tops of your feet, broadening your collarbones, allowing your shoulders to relax away from your ears. And then as you exhale, sitting your hips back, finding your child's pose. Forehead relaxing down onto your mat, releasing your hands down by your side. Reconnect to your breath, letting go of the practice, feeling the sensations in your spine. And then on your next inhale, walking your hands back, rolling yourself up to seated, and then shifting over to the side and extending your legs nice and long along your mat. Finding your way down onto your back again, bending your knees, taking your feet nice and wide, allow your feet to come as wide as your mat. Take your arms out to the side, palms face up, and then let both knees start to drop over to your left, keeping your feet where they are. Bringing that right foot, if it feels good, left foot, if it feels good, on top of that right knee. Maybe gazing towards your right fingertips. Just twisting out this back bend. Twisting out the back bending practice. Releasing that top foot, bringing your foot down onto the mat, allowing your knees to roll over now to the right. Bringing your right heel on top of your left knee. Maybe gazing towards your left fingertips now, both shoulders are anchored, maybe gently closing your eyes. And then releasing that top foot, inhaling back to center, and then allowing both legs to lengthen along your mat, releasing your hands down by your side, palms facing up, shoulder heads rolling back, gently closing your eyes, relaxing your tongue away from the top of your mouth and releasing the space between your eyebrows as you find stillness and ease in your Shavasana. I would encourage you to stay in your Shavasana for at least 2 minutes, but for however long it feels good for you to do so. Thank you for practicing with us today. Namaste.